If you don't want to use Illustrator, there's always Inkscape, and Inkscape is totally free. You could go to this URL to download Inkscape, and this will allow you to also create SVGs. This is a vector-based application, and to create the quickest vector, let's select from the left side, draw a circle, and can draw a square like this. Remove the circle area from the rectangle. First, let's colorize the circle by selecting it and just picking color. Going to bring this to the front, which is the same as raising it to the top. Going under Object, raise to top. Now it's in front. Select both of these objects. I'm drawing marquee selection. And go to Path, Difference. And now that carves this circular section out of the rectangle. And to save this as a SVG, File, Save As. From this menu, select not the Inkscape SVG, since we're going to use Maya or Blender, SVG. Pick a location to save your drawing to and click on Save. Next part is to jump to Maya. This shows that it's not just Illustrator, but conceptually it's about using an SVG to make objects within Maya or Blender. From the ribbon up here, click on SVG. And if you didn't see that, you would go under Modeling, Create SVG, and that would lead to the same place. With this SVG selected, under the Attribute Editor, if you don't see the Attribute Editor open, press Ctrl-A, click on this folder icon, and select the SVG that you just created using Inkscape, and click on Open. And there it is. Under the Geometry tab, you can make it very sharp or make it very refined like this. In order to see the texture on this SVG, as a review, just go under Mesh Display with the object selected and choose Toggle Display Colors Attributes. And now you're all caught up on how to use other applications other than Illustrator to create SVGs. Select this tool, and then click right here to allow you to insert a new node, a new vertex right here. So double click, 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 and one on the other side, click, click. And that also now, take 5, that inserts these new nodes. You need more than these two. Going to drag this one down, holding down the Shift key. Take 5, just dragging this one down. A little lower. Same with this one. Going to insert another one here. and one right above there. Selecting here and just drag those out. Same with the other side. Drag those out. Selecting this one and pressing the delete key because it wasn't needed. If you want to adjust the tangents, you could use these tools right up here to play with tangents, but right now I'm going to leave everything as is. I'm going to export this as an SVG. Before I do that, let me just straighten this up a little bit. There we go. Selecting the object, File, Export, take 5, File, Save As, and calling it T-shirt. Plain SVG selected, click on Save, jumping to Maya, selecting the object, take 5, click on SVG, click on Import, locate the SVG that was just saved. Under the geometry node, make it smoother. And there's the start of a t-shirt. Well, how do you get it more into a t-shirt? Think about other skills that were shown during the semester. Take 5, think of your other skills. Selecting on the face level, selecting this face, and just extruding, and scaling it down. Same thing with the back side. Extrude out, scale down a little bit. Going to open up the bottom of this, selecting this face, and I can use the move tool so I don't accidentally scale. I'm pressing the delete key. That opens up this side. Before I open up where the arms go through, maybe using the multi-cut tool to add a little more structure to this. So multi-cut tool, and if your multi-cut tool won't cut right through, hold down the shift key and just drag straight down like that. Shift key dragging straight down and cross, shift, cross, and that does a cut going right through it. Now it's at an angle. Why is it at an angle? Because I didn't do this from a side viewport. Press the space bar, pick a side viewport or front viewport. And now that the object is aligned flat onto the planes, hold down the shift and drag, and again this is the multi-cut tool, and that makes a slice going right throughout your model. Now you can jump back to the perspective viewport, picking up the move tool, clicking in this viewport, space bar. I'm going to open up the sleeve opening right there, so shift, so click on the face and delete. Same thing with the other side. Click on the face, delete, delete. There's another one here. Reason why I did a cross section over here, because when you press the 3 key, things will collapse to smoothness, and without this here, this structure at the bottom would just collapse too small. Try it out yourself and see what happens. It's always good to experiment, play with this. Take 5 and play with your tools so you better understand what's going on. So to open up the inside, just going to select these faces going across and clicking on each one and deleting them. You can do a marquee selection, just select more than one. But you might accidentally select one that you didn't want. So spend a few seconds and just do it the sure way of getting things done. And the rest would be reshaping the vertices, such as the openings here. Going to the vertex right there, selecting those vertices, and you could try turning on mirroring, mirror across the X, and if that's not working, you might need take 5. So selecting these vertices right here, you could use the scale tool. First I'll scale it uniform, take 5, I'll scale it along this x-axis, straighten it out like this. Do the same thing for the other side. Marquee selection, select all those vertices, making sure you don't accidentally select one somewhere else. And there. Reshaping the opening is about using soft selection, take 5, and maybe just reshaping the vertices that way. But before you use soft selection, if you select these two vertices right there and right there, I'll do the same thing for the other side. Shift clicking on that one as well. So those 4 vertices, just pull them down. And then you can continue to reshape the sleeve opening. To get this to look a little more rounder, you can fit it onto your character. This might be a good place to select the object, because the object is really like this. So there's the object right now. Going to apply Mesh Smooth to it. Mesh Smooth. It doesn't do a great job, but that's okay. We'll fix it in a moment. Then Edit Delete by Type History. And then going on to Mesh. Go to Edit Mesh. Go to Mesh Tools. And then with the object selected on the object level, take 5. With the object, take 6. With the object selected, go to Mesh, take 7. With the object selected, go to Mesh and Remesh, take 5. Retopolize and open up the little properties box right here. So you can select how it's going to do the faces. Take 5. So you can select how it's going to replan these faces. I want to target a face count. Let's say 1,000 faces, because it's such a small object. Hit apply and wait a moment. Much better, right? This is an object that we could work with on top of your models. So to get a little more roundness, you would put it onto a character or hang it, take 5, or place it onto a clothing rack, whatever you want, because it should be in context. Select this section here. And I used the marquee selection, and I accidentally selected these, so let me deselect these. You can use a lasso tool as well. I'm just showing you how would you start to shape it onto a character. Press the B key for soft selection. Pick up the move tool. You can just start to pull it out. Now, if you're getting it pulled out with a little more edge than you want, undo. Good for a mechanical panel, but maybe not good for cloth. Just increase your soft selection. And just slowly pull it out to reshape it.